What are some ways that teachers at Paseo Point have tried to involve you in your child's education at home?
The teachers at Paseo Point have been really good about sending home extra information regarding websites that might be useful for a certain topic, or they'll give Megan extra points if she goes on, say, Khan Academy
Mm-hmm.
or Study Island and does so many minutes a week working on that to kind of help boost her grade if she's falling behind in a specific concept or standard.
Do you do anything at Paseo Point to support your child or help the school?
I try to volunteer as often as I can. It's really hard when you're a working parent to push in those extra hours and volunteer, but I've always felt that parent involvement in a school is so vital to
Mm-hmm.
not just your students' education, but to the school environment as well.
Can you give an example of a time where you volunteered?
Many. I used to be the PTO president. I was president of PTO for 3 years while my kids were both in younger grades. And I worked full time as well. So that was difficult, but I think it made a really good impact in the school and the family, both. I volunteer at different events throughout the year, movie nights, PTO events, things like that.
Do you attend any meetings or events at the school? Which ones do you attend?
I try to attend as many as I can get to. I always make sure I'm available for parent teacher conferences. I don't think I've ever missed a parent teacher conference with a teacher. I will try to get to as many PTO meetings as I can, which can be difficult because my kids have after school activities, but I try to at least get to one a quarter. And then if there's a fun event like the Hispanic Heritage Night, I'll try to make sure we at least pop in and support those as well.
Why do you attend these events?
I think it's important for the school as well as the students. I think it helps to build a better school environment when you have families that are connected and involved. I think it builds a knowledge in the students to know that their parents care enough to take the time out of their day to come to something like Hispanic Heritage Night or a book fair or breakfast of the month or something like that.
Do you think these meetings are helpful? If so, why?
I think they're really helpful because they help build like I said, not just a relationship between the teachers and the family, but the school as a whole. And I think the community will see that their local school is being supported by their parents. And I think that helps the community be more supportive of the schools as well.
Does the school provide enough information and help for you to know how to be involved with your child? If not, what kinds of things would you like to know more about?
I think our school does a really good job of reminding parents that there are different events going on. Ms. Pashley is really good about sending home the phone call notices. We get those when there's upcoming events. Our PTA president does a wonderful job of making sure that parents are aware of what's happening as well, both on the PTA page and the local community page on Facebook.
Do you think the teachers at our school provide enough information to know how to be involved?
I think they do. I think especially with the middle school teachers, it's hard to remember that the parents still want to be involved, but I think they do a good job of reaching out and trying to stay connected with the families.
Is it a challenge with multiple teachers to communicate effectively with all of the teachers on the middle school team?
It can be, but I think having an understanding that each of the teachers is seeing multiple students a day kind of helps parents understand that, they're not being ignored. They're just, you have to wait a little bit maybe to get an answer right away. But I think they do a really good job of reaching out to parents.
So did you have to attend separate conferences with each middle school teacher in order to receive your updates?
No. So the middle school team actually does a great job of doing group conferences. So you meet with 2 teachers at a time 2 subject teachers at a time, and then they kind of switch out. So you're meeting with all of the teachers at the same time, and they do a really good job of they have everything right there. They have their grades right there. They have behavior notes, progress notes, and it makes it really nice and quick.
So then it's just one conference where you get to eventually cycle through all teachers on the team?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. How welcome and or comfortable do you feel at the school, and what experiences make you feel this way?
I always feel welcome when I come onto campus. The ladies in the front office, from the time you walk in the front door, always make you feel welcome and important. The lady that sits right at the front desk has the biggest smile when you walk in the door. And then anywhere on campus, people say hello, they smile, they ask if you need anything, and they're, always grateful if you're there to volunteer.
Do you think Paseo's Point switch to a closed campus makes you feel alienated as a parent?
No, not at all. I think they've done that to provide a safer environment. I think the less parents on campus picking up students all at one time through the gates is a good thing. It's really difficult to keep track of so many adults on campus taking kids all at the same time. I know that a lot of parents complain about the pickup line and the drop-off line, but that's at every school. I think the closed campus is a great way to keep a safe environment.
So you still feel that parents know or feel like they can come into the school?
Oh yeah, they know they can come in at any time and get a visitor's badge and still go to the classroom or come have lunch. I don't think it really has made that much of a change, and I don't think it's made it any more difficult at all to come in. I think it's made it a safer environment for the students by knowing exactly who's on campus at all times.
Do you have any suggestions for how the school could be more comfortable for parents?
No, not really. I think the administrative team and the teaching team has done a really good job of keeping all of the families connected to what's happening on school. They're always welcomed. I think there's a lot of really good opportunities for parents to stay involved in school.
Why do you think that some parents are very involved here at Paseo Point and some might not be?
I think that welcoming environment is a part of it. I think the fact that there are so many ways to communicate to the parents and the families through social media, email, phone calls, flyers sent home, even just the marquee outside, I think helps parents realize exactly what's going on at the school instead of just creating an environment of not knowing or of confusion.
Do you think there's any specific programs that Paseo Point doesn't offer that we should offer to parents?
I don't think so. I know that some schools have been successful in doing like a parent English class for non-native English speakers, and I've seen those be really successful. I know that some of the high schools do, I think it's called the Dream Academy, where they help the parents understand the process for enrolling students into college. But since our elementary students aren't at that level yet, I think the curriculum nights have been really helpful.
Can you talk a little bit about curriculum night and what that looks like and how many you've attended?
I try to attend one every year. I know that Paseo Point generally does one at the beginning of the school year, and then I believe they do another one later on in the year before testing. And I've gone to several throughout the years as my kids have grown, and they've always been really helpful as far as giving out information like what it is that they're doing in math, the different strategies that they can use, different reading strategies that they can work on with the kids, I know when my daughter was young, doing different educational games in the evenings, even if it was just a spelling game or a reading game or a math game.